I'm Mike Sullivan, and today I'm going to show you a quick little pitching tip that I think can also help you with your full swing. Okay, I have a 56-degree sand wedge. If you really like to use your 60-degree wedge, you can use that as well. But for this video, we're going to use the 56. I think most golfers will hit a higher percentage of good shots if they go for the 56 over the 60. And we can talk more later about why I think that's the case. So we're going to use the 56 here. All right, take a look at what happens here. As I set up to my shot, you can see that I've got the butt end of the club pointing towards me, pointing towards my body. Now this should make sense as you watch this. As I start my little backswing here, you can see the butt end of the club is still pointing towards me. All right, I'm going to hit a little shot here. You'll notice I put a little more weight in my front foot here. There's my little pitch. You'll notice that the butt end of the club is still pointing towards me, maybe even a little bit ahead of me this way. All right, so how do most of our students here hit their pitch shots? I think you have an idea what's going to happen. A lot of times, as soon as they take that club away, the butt end of the club starts to point in front of them, and then when they hit the ball, the butt end of the club points behind them, kind of like this. And that ball was, I hit behind the ball, then the club came up and bladed the ball over across the green. Not a very good shot. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening here. Obviously, I think you have an idea what I'd like you to do. Okay, so when we're hitting these little pitches, if I can keep the butt end of the club pointing at me, I've got a really good chance for this lever, say from my left shoulder or my lead shoulder down to the club head, to really work for me. Okay? So beginning golfers, why do beginning golfers get kind of this way? Well, I think it's because their trail hand, for me, my right hand is the hand that I'm more coordinated with. It's the hand that I like to do stuff with. Putting the car keys in the door, writing with a pencil, typing, whatever. I feel really good with this hand especially, but hands and wrists. So when we put a club in our hand and we're trying to control this delicate little shot, we tend to be more wristy and handsy with it with this kind of power hand here. Okay, so that's just to help get an idea of why we're doing what we're doing. Now, when it comes to talking to newer golfers, we talk about, hey, we want to keep the butt end of the club pointing at us, so when we strike that shot, we want that the handle, kind of leading the club head just a little bit. They have a hard time, and I'll tell you where the problem is, and if you're a newer golfer and you're struggling with these little shots, pay attention to this. Notice how at the end of my swing, my chest has continued through the shot. If you take a look at beginning golfers or higher handicappers, when they hit their pitches, their chest, it quits moving. Okay? So we want to make sure we can keep our chest and our shoulders turning through our shot, and that's going to help the club work out much better for us. Okay? So let's try a little bit more of that. I didn't think I'd hit this many golf balls, boy. So we got some more here. All right. So what's a nice little drill that you can do to help you out with hitting these shots? Well, the first thing we like to do is one-handed pitches. And what's going to happen is, not only are you going to be incentivized to get the club working properly here, not this way, a little more that way, and to get this club swinging, I'm feeling I have to move a little more weight onto my front side. And by the way, if you just grabbed a club and did this one-handed, you would figure all this out without me having to tell you, okay? Weight on my front side and get a sense of that club swinging, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and hit a little shot here. Let's see if I can hit this thing close to the hole. I should have a camera set up there. Cheating forward a little bit, tick, tock. Okay, a little bit high. That's pretty good. All right. So after we make a few of these little one-handed swings, we're getting a sense of allowing the club to swing and using a little bit better technique. Now I'll go to two hands. Another thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up the club face a little bit. And as I do that, what starts to happen is the bounce, I'm going to move up here. Hopefully this doesn't get blurry. The bounce on the bottom of the club starts to get activated a little bit. So if I get that club open and I strike the ground, stay a little behind the ball, the club won't dig into the turf. If I'm really, really straight here and I come in, I hit behind the ball, I'm going to dig it and I'm going to chunk it. So I'm going to hit this a little bit heavy, a little fat on purpose behind the ball with a straight club face. Watch what happens. See that big chunk I got there? All right, I'm going to grab that ball. So watch what happens if I hit a similar shot, but I let the bounce work with me a little bit. I'm just going to open that up a little bit. You can see it right here. Let's get that ball out of the way. Just about here. Okay. See that club kind of glides right through there? That gives me a really good feeling of confidence I can make this work out. Let's try this. I'm going to hit behind it on purpose, okay? This is a tight lie. It wasn't too bad. And I'm not exactly sure where I hit. I'll look at the replay on that. But I think I hit a pretty good amount behind the ball. So, by the way, your irons, all the irons in your bag have some amount of that bounce to help you out a little bit. So I think just knowing that you don't have to have this pressure on you to make solid, perfect contact all the time can help out as well. Okay, so the big thing here we're talking about is getting started with the butt end of the club pointing at our body. Not out here, that gets us in trouble, okay? The other thing is, if I can turn through my shots, I'm going to have that butt end of the club pointing at me, and the club will work for us. I didn't want to talk about too many things here, but one other misconception is this. And I might be guilty about passing this on a little bit. You know, most of the golfers that we work with, when they strike their shots, they're in a position where the club head passes their hands really early. They get scoopy with their wrists. They either hit the ground behind the ball or they come up and blade the ball. Okay? So because most golfers tend to swing kind of this way, and they think they're going to help the ball in the air, it doesn't really work very well. We tend to tell them, hey, get your weight forward, your hands forward, this way, whenever you hit a shot. And sometimes they develop a swing where they try to drag the club through. And it looks unnatural. I'm sure it feels unnatural. And there's not a really good swing to what they're doing. We do want to make sure we can incorporate momentum and centripetal force in our golf game. So we want to have that swing. And what's happening is when I get down towards the ball, this club head is starting to kind of catch up with the handle, and when I strike it, the club is going to actually be pretty close to vertical on these pitch shots. You know, we don't want it to get this way, but we really don't want it to be way up here either. Because even if we do put a good arc on it, that's going to make the leading edge want to dig into the turf, and if we hit it fat, we're going to have a problem. Okay? So I hope this is making some sense. In general, butt end of the club pointing at us, and keep turning those shoulders through. Let's see if I hit one good one here. Cheating weight to my front side just helps me hit my spot a little bit better. Tick-tock. Oh, right on the money. I wish I had a camera out there. Okay, anyway, keep the butt end of the club pointing at you on these little pitch shots. You'll hit your pitch shots better. You'll also probably hit the rest of your shots better as well. I hope that helps. We'll see you next time.